This is Gateway Clown. This film is adapted from the novel by Adam Caesar. There's actually 3 of them, so we could potentially be looking at franchise material here, depending on the success level this film hits or doesn't hit. And the story follows main character Quinn and her father, who moved to small town Kettle Springs after the loss of the mother and wife. Then you pepper in the small fact that, hey, our town mascot just sort of comes out every once in a while and butchers a few kids. No big deal, come on in! Straight off the bat, if you're a slasher fan who enjoys the traditional tropes and a heavy lean into that, at some points to a daft degree, this is a watch for you. What may hinder it for you on your part is the expectations being placed on its shoulders. And then you've got the clown element, which brings with it a level of prestige in the horror community almost. This film follows suit with things like Heart Eyes, Hell of a Summer, The Monkey, things that are sort of resuscitating this horror comedy genre, and it feels like we're building to this big crescendo that is this new scary movie that's looming on the horizon. And what else would we expect from Eli Craig? Honestly, he gave us Tucker vs. Dale, which is one of my favourite films in general, not just horror films. And of course you've got Zombieland, among others. So he's very at home in this horror comedy mix. A huge part of the comedy leans into the Gen Z versus Boomer side of things, which for me is quite tired. But they did make it so ridiculous at points where it did sort of rake a laugh at me anyway. Another positive in part for me is the kills. We got some of your typical gore. If Friendo hadn't used a pitchfork at one point, I think I personally would have been disappointed. And then there's one kill that sort of like stands out among the rest. I don't want to spoil it. On that note, let's talk about the one who's doing the killing. I like the balance that they struck with Friendo as a character, again, between this comedy and horror. You've got the horror side of things coming more from his physicality, the head tilts, etc. And then more of the comedy being insinuated by the fact that he's a friendly looking freaking clown called Friendo for one. But then something that I really loved was the squeak of his shoes. He would commit absolute carnage and then he would step over the body and Now we get to the plot. And this is where things become very mixed/negative for me. I saw it coming a mile off who the big bad was in this film. And it didn't mean that I didn't enjoy the chaos as it was happening. It just meant when the big reveal happened, I hoped that there would have at least been something that I didn't know. Something to be like, oh, a little accessory there. Nothing. Overall, objectively, if you take subjectivity out of it with like taste in comedy and, you know, personal preferences, etc., it's a fairly well constructed horror comedy that gives you gore and laughs in good measure. Don't get me wrong, some teething issues that we could definitely see ironed out if we get a potential sequel, but I would say it's still an enjoyable watch for even the most casual horror fans if you accept it for what it is. This is Gateway Clown. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments. I know that people are very to and fro on this. And let me know if you would like to see Friendo hit screens again in the future.